Hi, I'm Stanley Yung, the director and producer of the feature film Chink, and you're watching the Pretentious Film Majors.
All right, Stanley, thank you very much for joining us here. Uh, in the panel that we were just in, you mentioned that you got your start on a children's show. How did you go from there to Chink?
Um, from there, actually, I always knew that I really wanted to get into feature filmmaking, so I started working for Roger Corman's company. He was like I don't know if most people know about him now, but he was kind of a mentor to a lot of really big directors like Martin Scorsese, Francis Coppola, Ron Howard. He kind of gave them all a big break. His specialty is making like low budget B movie genre films. So I kind of worked my way up through that company. I started out as like a PA and worked my way up to like producing and directing within like a year and a half or so, because it's a kind of a cool system. It's sort of like a film school setting, where because they would constantly do projects. They cranked out like 14 movies a year, and it really gave people an opportunity to move up the ladder really quickly. Because if you did well at one rung, you would get promoted pretty quickly. So that's kind of how I learned all my skills about how to make films on a low budget. And so it kind of after that I started producing and line producing a lot of films, but kind of really wanted to get back into directing. So Chink was sort of like an opportunity to do that a couple years ago, and that was really done on a shoestring budget. So I had pretty much had to pull in all of my skills of guerrilla style, low budget filmmaking that I learned at Roger Corman's company. So
So a
that's how I
lot,
got here.
cool. Sorry. So a lot of the literature that I've been reading about Chink, says that it's meant to piss people off. It's meant to get people's attention. With your message. What inspired you to pull something? I guess this bold, really, because this trailer. When I saw the trailer, it did seem like no other slasher movie that I've seen before. So what made you want to make that big statement?
Well, we just wanted to do an Asian American film that had never been done before. Kind of like just addressing themes and issues that are kind of underrepresented in films. First of all, it's pretty rare in general to see an Asian American male lead as the center of a film, and he's also an anti-hero. I was kind of inspired by films like A Clockwork Orange and Taxi Driver, to kind of see how far you can really push the audience in terms of putting them into the point of view of somebody who's really, kind of a despicable person if you saw them from the outside. But if you walked in their shoes, how would you be able to understand why they're capable of, doing these kind of heinous acts? Kind of inspired a little bit also by, it seems like every month there's a mass shooting by some deranged person who's sort of like on the margins of society. And I feel like with our film we tried to explore that kind of personality. What is it like to be a person who feels so marginalized that they feel like they to lash out, and using violence is like their only means of feeling empowered. And then just the incendiary nature of the title Chink, and obviously it's meant to sort of grab people's attention. We wanted it to be an edgy film that kind of generated a lively debate about like racism in contemporary American society, and the harm of words like of racial epithets like Chink and that sort of thing. And in some ways it was kind of a therapeutic thing for me too, because I grew up being called that on the schoolyard and getting bullied and that sort of thing, and it was always a word that's had a lot of it's been kind of hurtful and had a lot of emotional power over me. But being able to even just to say the word and to use it as the title of a film is sort of kind of desensitized me to it in some ways. So
I'm glad you brought up the title, because I was going to ask if, you've encountered any challenges or, some hesitation from studios and for people who would want to show the film because of the name.
I mean, definitely there's been people who've not liked the film mainly because of the title. And But that's okay. Everyone has a valid point of view, so can understand that. Yeah, there's actually been some backlash from the community in some ways, but we've always stood by our what we believe in terms of we feel like the film the title is actually an accurate reflection of the material because it's about an Asian American man who's grown up dealing with racism to the point where he feels alienated and lashes out against other Asians. It becomes like a self-hating person. So I feel like we tried a few alternate titles and none of them really seem to fit it as well as Chink does. So.
So you mentioned Clockwork Orange and Taxi Driver, but when I watched the trailer, I got like a sense of Norman Bates-ish. So I was wondering if there were any other sort of iconic slashers that you were looking to emulate with your character.
I guess Psycho didn't really come to mind, but films like I guess Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer was probably one. It's pretty raw and kind of gritty, putting you inside the perspective of somebody who's really deranged. But on the other hand, I didn't really want to portray like somebody who's like a pure psychopath. I wanted him to still be, if not likable, at least sympathetic to the audience. So he's not like a pure psychopath without a conscience or like any kind of human feeling. So in the film, he still has. I think an interesting relationship with the romantic lead in the film. There's actually kind of a love story subplot in the movie, so yeah, it's kind of what I was going for.
Okay, so where can our audience find out more about Chink and where to see it next?
I guess our Facebook page is probably the best place to find out about what we're doing, what festivals we're playing in, that sort of thing, and we're in the process of trying to sell the film now to get it distribution. So we'll see. There's a couple of possibilities on the table right now, so hopefully it'll find a wider audience pretty soon.
Awesome. Well, Stanley, best of luck with your film. Look forward to seeing it here at the festival.
Thanks.
And thanks very much for taking the time out.